Good morning. It's such a treat. Please have a seat. It's such a treat to be here, and I'm honored to be here at Jacksonville Classical Academy, joined by so many great leaders in their own right. I see some in the audience, and really it is a privilege to serve as Lieutenant Governor and to be here championing and talking about issues that are so important under our great Governor, Ron DeSantis. So as someone who is a choice mom herself, someone whose son attends a classical education in Miami, I can tell you that the mission here is simple, to train the minds and improve the hearts of young people through classical education in liberal arts and sciences with instruction in the principles of moral character and civic virtue. Moral character and civic virtue, I cannot speak enough about. We know that our society, obviously, we are trying to mold our children, we are trying to educate them, but not just to be lifelong learners, which was what you do here, but also to be good citizens. And so that's something that Governor DeSantis and I both firmly support. And the mission here, it's evident that you're doing just that. So again, I was able to witness some students and their eagerness for learning, their passion, their zeal. Just really an honor to be here. So thank you for welcoming me. And I'm happy to be joined on stage by so many leaders in their own right. We've got our Department of Education Commissioner, Manny Diaz. We have our Jacksonville Classical Academy Chairman of the Board, Ambassador John Rood. We have two of Duval County School Board members. We've got School Board member Charlotte Joyce and April Carney. Thank you for joining us. We have the Executive Director, Lindsay Hoyt, as well as your Principal, Nick Barker. And then, of course, great students, parents, and other leaders and community folks that are involved in the importance of what you're doing here. So what started in 1996 with Florida being a pioneer has led us down a path of where we are today. And what I can say is today we are proud to proclaim that Florida is the national leader in comprehensive school choice. And while other states are trying to keep up, trying to emulate, trying to scurry and do similar pieces of legislation, there is no doubt Florida is the leader. We continue to lead the way, and that is in great testament to the folks in the legislature, to our governor, to our Department of Education, and of course, you all, that again, have been such an instrumental part of what we're doing here. And in terms of public charter schools, what we've seen is that Florida has flourished. We have more than 700 today. In fact, 1 in every 5 public schools is a charter school. And that has grown tremendously over the years. We've seen it. And as it relates to private scholarship students and the enrollment, Florida ranks first in tax credit scholarship. Florida ranks first in education savings accounts. Florida ranks first in school vouchers. Florida's private choice enrollments represent 1/3 of the entire nation's choice programs. So that in and of itself, the investments have been significant. We're first in spending on private choice programs, and as you'll see today, we're just getting started. Last week, Governor DeSantis signed historic legislation, HB 1, into law, expanding school choice for every single Florida family. That is something, yes, that deserves a round of applause. And so what we've seen is that with the expansion of school choice, that's going to put our parents in the driver's seat for their children's education. A student should never be limited to their zip code, which is why this historic legislation will allow families to take ownership of their child's success. We've eliminated the current enrollment cap and the exemptions to the maximum number of students who can participate in the Family Empowerment Scholarship Program. We have also made sure that we don't lose sight of our responsibility to our students with unique abilities. And so I'm happy to also announce that in HB 1, we address the high demand and the wait list for our students with special needs, and that we are tripling the rate of growth and making sure that those scholarships are available for those parents and students that have unique abilities. So that, again, is something that we're extremely proud of. The Department of Education, because of what we believe will be a tremendous renewed increase in interest and choice, will be developing an online portal, and I'm sure the Commissioner will address that, that'll enable parents to be able to choose the best educational option for their students. And so while we're extremely proud of the work we've done, in particular with HB 1, I think it bears repeating all the great work that the governor has done as it relates to education overall. What we've developed in terms of our civic seal of excellence, we've had over 4,000 teachers that have run through that program. They are rewarded with a $3,000 bonus at the end of that, and we have many more that are clamoring to be a part of that program. So we're excited about that as well. We're excited about the fact that the governor has had historic funding for education, historic increases in teacher pay, overall making sure that we have curriculum transparency. So the state of education in the state of Florida has undergone a tremendous transformation, innovation, and an insistence on excellence and quality. So, and now HB1, couple that with all the work that we've done thus far, we've continued our commitment to providing additional opportunities to support our teachers, to support our families, and insist on parental rights. Again, HB1 expands opportunities for teachers by eliminating many of the barriers to entering the profession. It expands the length of a temporary teaching certificate from 3 years to 5 years. And we talked a little bit about that and the importance of making sure that we are keeping pace with our teachers that are entering the profession, that want to stay in the profession, and allowing them the opportunities to further develop their skills. HB1 also allows that the requirement of general knowledge could be waived if a teacher has been provided 3 years of support and instruction and has been rated either effective or highly effective during those last 3 years. So a lot of great work. Yes.
They're dying to clap.
So as I mentioned at the onset, Florida has a rich history and tradition with school choice, and that has its roots dating back to 1996. When Florida first unveiled their very first charter school in my hometown of Miami-Dade County. And what we've seen, the tremendous foundation that's been built over the years, we've been able to develop a very robust ecosystem that has a multitude of high-quality options for every family, for every student, because we know, I'm a mom of 3, and what works for one of my children doesn't work for the other. So it's important that parents have the option to fit the education for their particular child's needs. So I believe that our administration has done yeoman's work. We have diligently worked to solidify our school choice foundation. In 2019, we enacted the Family Empowerment Scholarships. In 2020, we expanded those scholarships and covered an additional 29,000 students and families. In 2021, we increased scholarships for students with unique abilities. And in 2022, we developed the New Worlds Reading Scholarship, which provides $500 to improve literacy by providing funding to families for tutoring and other instructional materials. So I would say we had done quite a bit up until this point, but now, because of the governor's focus, what we're seeing is 1.3 million children in Florida are taking advantage of these educational opportunities, and you all here are a testament to that as well. So those 1.3 million students that I just referenced in our choice programs are larger than the entire K through 12 population of 35 other states. So to put that into perspective, 35 other states, we have more students in choice than 35 other states in their entire K through 12 population. So again, a testament to the great work that's been done and the great work that continues to be done. Historic education like this can absolutely change the trajectory of the lives of so many students, and I saw it live and in person, the work that's being done here and in so many other similar schools across the state. It's impressive. So I want to give some of the leaders an opportunity to say a few words, to share their insights and their perspective, because it is a team effort. We couldn't have done it with so many people that are here with me today. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Diaz.
Thank you, Governor Núñez. And, you know, not only as Lieutenant Governor, but I got to tell you that her service goes back a decade in the legislature, and it was always on the forefront of those fights when 10 years ago it was not so popular to be in favor of school choice and making sure that parents had that opportunity. And I really want to commend and thank the governor for his leadership, because I've spent that decade in the legislature, and until the last 4 years, we've seen an acceleration on the focus in education, and Governor Ron DeSantis is definitely the nation's education governor. So how about an applause for this team? Ambassador Rood, thank you for your efforts. Thank you for having us here today, but we've had so many conversations about this idea in this place, and to actually walk into the classrooms and see the end of, the end users of all of those policies that we have fought for, because you fight for these things, but most of the time we don't get to see them, right? And having the opportunity to really see this come into reality and watch the magic happens when those kids stand up and are able to really sound out those letters, and knowing that they're going to have a foundation, a base, and that our future is bright thanks to schools like this and thanks to options that parents have regardless of zip code. And HB1 is an incredible culmination of that work, because now Florida, and thank you for clearing that up, Governor. The Florida, I would correct your statement a little bit that we took our place again. We never lost our place. There was a lot of noise out there from other states, but they quickly, no one's talking about them anymore after HB1 has passed. So Florida makes it clear that we are the leader, that parents are in charge, and they're the first educators in a child's life are their parents. And those are the people that need to make decisions. Our parents here in Florida do not co-parent with the government. They make decisions for their kids. So HB1 just adds to that parental right, adds to those options. And while this is a charter school, and kids already had the opportunity to come here before HB1, the opportunity across the board for parents to make those decisions. It's not for us to decide where the kids go, but that their options are there. Also, the Lieutenant Governor spoke of the flexibility for hiring teachers, for streamlining that process, for making sure that it's modernized. And I got to tell you that Ambassador Rood was a huge champion for this, because he delved into this world and now got a full understanding that some of these obstacles are really keeping the best people from being in the classroom. And so in this case, we provide that opportunity, we streamline that process. I know we want to do more to make sure that we are getting the absolute best person in the classroom. The days of our schools of education producing all of the teachers that we need are gone. We are more and more every day relying on career changers, on people that have had other majors, but that have content expertise. They want to share knowledge with our students. And so this gives us a great opportunity to do this. Again, we're so thankful to be here today, to see what's going on here at this school, to see all the opportunities that are blossoming across our state for our kids, regardless of what background they had, where they came from, what neighborhood they live in. It's so important that we fulfill that promise. So thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor, and thanks for having us here.
Thank you, Commissioner, and he's right. We did have quite a few battles in the legislature. I know Representative Michaels knows that as well, and I think that what we've seen is a tremendous interest, and it is no longer just a Republican issue. You have seen a tremendous interest from a bipartisan perspective, that they're honest and they're willing to battle against some of the entrenched union bureaucrats. You have seen how so many folks on both sides of the aisle are now not only supporting school choice, but they are promoting school choice. And I think, again, it takes a community and group of leaders like this one. There's so many people on our state boards and across the state leading the charge on education. But I spoke to Ambassador Rood many years ago. I think it was right after you had just opened, and I had committed to coming. And then obviously we had some other issues we were dealing with, and I promised him I would be here. It took me a little while, but here I am, and I want to thank personally Ambassador Rood for your vision and your commitment and your dedication, and would love for you to say a few words.
Thank you. Governor, I think you were waiting to make sure it really worked, but it did. I'd like to ask our teachers, our wonderful students, our faculty members, our administrators, parents, and just friends of the school to give a real warm welcome to the governor for her visit. I'll do it afterwards. Yeah. Before I give my comments, we would like to do the student portion of this right now. We have a pledge, and Nick, do you want to kick it off with that? He's going to get them started on the.
So let's have our scholars come on up here. Let me switch that.
Yeah. You can slide down.
So we've got some 7th grade scholars, some 8th grade, a couple of 4th graders, and several kindergarten scholars that we're gonna lead the entire group in reciting our Pledge of Allegiance in English, followed by Latin. And I think that our kindergartners are going to recite a bit of the preamble as well. So you guys want to come on over here and stand in front? So I'm going to ask everybody to stand, please. And we have flag there, and obviously flags here. If you want to turn around, you may. But are you guys ready? We're going to start in English. Are you ready? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, y'all. Hey, now really project your voices, all right, for our guests. So now we're going to do our pledge in Latin.
Fidem meam obliga, vexilla civitatium Americae foederatarum, et rei publicae pro qua stat, uni nationi, Deo ducente, non dividendi, cum libertate, justitiaque omnibus.
All right. Are you guys ready for our preamble?
Yeah, I know. I've got a tough act to follow. Not near as cute. Jacksonville Classical Academy is a classical school, and we like to say that we celebrate everything true and beautiful. It's reflected in our curriculum, and our curriculum includes things such as Latin, Singapore math, science-based reading, history, literature, art, science, and music. As a public charter school, our parents have chosen to attend this school, but not all parents, not all families are able to attend schools of their choice. There's 3 classical schools in Jacksonville, and there's a total of 941 students on the waiting list. This is why the legislation that just passed, the HB1 legislation, that is going to provide for more choice, more schools, is so critical. The charter schools have not been able to keep up, and this new avenue is going to be a wonderful resource for parents looking for what's best for their families. Governor, I commend you for what you have done in the support of HB1 and how you fought for school choice from way back when, our conversations on how important this is. And in fact, you had told me something back then that I've forgotten, but your son, right, not daughter, son attends the school that I look at as probably my inspirational school, True North Academy in Miami. And it was probably the first really good charter school. And I called the founder a couple weeks ago when I saw the progress we were making in our young scholars in language arts. And I told him, you may be the best school in Florida right now, but we are catching up fast. So he said, bring it on. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll have to let him know. He's got some tough competition here, because I think they recite the preamble in 2nd grade for sure. I don't know. I haven't heard their kindergartners, so I'll have to go back and ask them. That was just so impressive, and thank you to the students that participated. Next, as I mentioned, we have 2 of our school board members here, but I would love to hear from one of our school board members, Charlotte Joyce.
Well, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good morning. It's such a pleasure to be here. I want to thank Ambassador Rude for having this event today. I am a big fan of classical education, and I am so proud that Duval County has classical education available to our parents in Duval County. So thank you so much. HB1 is where my heart is for two reasons. Number one, when I campaigned in 2018 coming out of the classroom, I campaigned for school choice. That was because I am a mother of 5 children, and I understand the unique, different avenues children need to go to learn. And so my children participated in magnet programs. I also homeschooled my children at some point, and one of my students had an IEP, and just the choice school that he was in was not able to really meet the needs that he had with his IEP, so I used a McKay Scholarship for him. And so I've kind of gone around the gamut, but just so thrilled to have that option for my children, and that we have the option for our parents in the state of Florida. I was at a conference in Washington, D.C. a couple of years ago with large urban school districts around the country, and my heart broke for one of the attendees that was sitting in front of me. She was from a different large urban district, and they didn't have choice, and she was in tears because students in that district had to attend failing schools. That is unacceptable, and I am proud to live in the free state of Florida, where parents have the right to choose what best education options there are for their children. We have had so much conversation around the school choice piece of HB1, but as a former teacher and a school board member, I can tell you I am the most thrilled about the options of what we have for teacher retention in this bill. Let me just talk to you a little bit about that. As a teacher coming out of the classroom, I had colleagues that were subject experts with their subject. Their students had gains. There's so many gains going on. They were teaching at a tremendous level. They were effective or highly effective, but at the end of those 3 years, they had to leave the classroom because of the general knowledge. If you are a subject expert in English, for example, and you struggle with the math portion of the general knowledge, we were losing highly effective teachers. So thank you, Governor DeSantis, Lieutenant Governor, and our legislature for taking those barriers away. Also, as a teacher in the public school system, I can tell you that I came into teaching not with an education background, not with an education degree. And so there's a big learning curve when you come out of off the street into the classroom. Not only do you have to learn the standards, the curriculum, how to deliver the instruction to the students, how to assess it, and then classroom management, and then also going back and trying to reteach standards that the students haven't completely learned, while you still are working with the curriculum guide to make sure that the rest of the class isn't falling behind. There's a lot around that, and we know that even experienced teachers work on the weekends, and they work at night, and they're overwhelmed. So imagine a brand new teacher coming into the classroom, and they have that learning curve, plus now they have 3 years to get their professional learning certificate. That's why the statistics say we lose teachers in 3 to 5 years. They're gone. That's where we lose them the most, the separation with our teachers. And so taking that barrier away, or allowing that to take that away, is also wonderful. And so I just am really thrilled about that part of HB1, that is going to empower teachers. And finally, I would just say that we are blessed beyond measure to live in the free state of Florida, free education for parents, for teachers, for our schools, and we will continue to lead the charge under our current leadership. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you to both of our school board members here that do great work. We appreciate you. And finally, we are going to hear from Jacksonville Classical Academy's very own principal, Mr. Nick Barker.
Well, Governor Núñez and Commissioner Diaz, on behalf of Jacksonville Classical Academy, we're really thankful that you guys are here. Thanks for giving us the honor of hosting you and for touring our classes. This really means a lot to us, and we're very appreciative. I also thank the both of you and the many men and women who represent us in Tallahassee for working hard to continue making Florida a leader in the development of education availability and opportunity. As a part of a team of leaders at our school, I am personally excited about the passing and future implementation of the HB1 bill. I'm thankful that our teachers will experience greater clarity and fewer obstacles in the process of demonstrating mastery and obtaining certification in their field of instruction. It really goes a long way. I look at it as we're making the process a whole lot more practical. Education should be tangible, it should be reachable, it should be something that is not difficult to attain. It shouldn't be pretentious. It should be something that all of us have access to so that we can all continue to learn. As a teacher of many years, I know the work of education is perhaps the most demanding, but also the most rewarding professional work. Sometimes the demands impede a teacher's ability to appreciate the reward of seeing children learn and grow. House Bill 1 seeks to relieve some of the burden and allow teachers to focus on being excellent in the classroom. In addition to being part of a great leadership team, I'm a dad of 3 here at Jax Classical. I have 1 in kindergarten, 1 in 2nd, and 1 in 4th grade. She's the pretty little one sitting at the end of this front row. Very nervous to be up here today, she is. But both of my boys have learned to read here in this educational environment. All 3 have been cared for and academically challenged, and it has created in each of them a love of learning. And this is possible for my kids because I, as their dad, had the freedom to choose where they would attend school. And this recent legislation solidifies the autonomy we have as Florida parents to seek the best learning opportunities and environments for our kids. School choice creates educational competition, and this is a good thing. It results in a raised standard that we have needed here in Florida. It will propel public charter, and private schools to improve. I know that is why our founder, Ambassador John Rood, sought to create our school, to provide another school option that would educate with excellence, and ultimately, and this is our key here, it's not just to develop people who are overly intelligent, although that's a great thing, or people who are puffed up with knowledge, but we want to develop great citizens. So today we celebrate with hope for our state and for education. We thank you again, Governor Núñez and Commissioner Diaz, and your staffs for being here with us and inviting us to be part of the work. Thank you.
Well, I'm very grateful to the leaders in education, the state legislators, and the folks that are here with us today as we make sure that we put parents in charge of their students' destiny and their students' educational success. I also want to take a moment to share some additional exciting news. Last month, I launched our 2nd annual Space Art Contest. So we're expecting that Jacksonville Classical Academy will participate. It's for grades kindergarten through 5th grade. And the theme for this year is Time Travel to 2123, Florida's Future as the Space Capital. I think most of you know Florida is indeed the space capital of the world. This year we're hoping to have about 100 launches. It has just been an exciting time in the space industry. And so what we expect is that students from across the state will submit their unique works of art, and we will be selecting 12 finalists, 2 from each grade, again, K through 5, and they will win tickets. Those finalists will win tickets to the Kennedy Space Center. And in addition, they'll have the opportunity to collaborate with this year's featured artist, Mr. Romero Brito. He will collaborate with them, and maybe they can get some lessons from him as well. And for 2 of our special grand prize winners, so we'll pick one from the K through 2 category and one from the 3rd through 5th grade category. We'll pick 2 grand prize winners, and they will have their artwork flown into space on a SpaceX mission. So, yes. So I know that there's a lot of excitement across the state. I've announced this in a couple of locations. The students are already diligently working on their art pieces. I hear you have some great art teachers here, so I'm confident if they're listening, they'll get their children to apply. They can go online to floridaspaceart.com. Any student in the K through 5 grades can apply. And pardon the pun, but the prizes are going to be out of this world, and I expect the artwork will be as well. Again, thank you all so much for being here. honor. On behalf of Governor DeSantis and myself, we're just honored that Jacksonville Classical Academy would host us, and that you're going to continue to do great work, instilling the love of learning, the good, the true, the beautiful, and make sure that we have lifelong learners in the state of Florida. Thank you all very much.
Let me know if I can ever help with anything. Okay, thank you. Thank you.